Happy New Year's to all of you out there watching and listening. Unfortunately, 2025 is not off to a great start if you are a Packer fan or the Packer organization, with the latest news coming out of Green Bay. And of course, it happens to surround our Pro Bowl cornerback, Jair Alexander. He's been the hot topic of conversation coming out of Green Bay. And according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, cornerback Jair Alexander underwent arthroscopic knee surgery yesterday to alleviate pain and swelling. According to Schefter, Alexander could make it back in time for the Super Bowl if the Packers were to make it that far. But if the Packers were to make it that far and go to the Super Bowl, I certainly wouldn't anticipate Jerry Alexander coming back and playing in that game. Of course, given the history there over the last couple of years and how slowly his recovery time has been, the article goes on to say that Alexander sustained a torn PCL in his right knee October 28th against the Jacksonville Jaguars and returned November 17th against the Chicago Bears, but only managed to play 10 snaps before dropping out. He hasn't played since. In the 7 games he's played this season, the two-time Pro Bowl selection has 2 interceptions, including a pick six. But more importantly than that, as we talked about in yesterday's video, Jair Alexander's presence is absolutely felt when he is out there. They have one of the better secondaries in the league when he is out there. And unfortunately, without him, they have one of the worst secondaries. And we saw a little glimpse of that last week against Minnesota. Sam Darnold, not a proven quarterback in this league, was able to just pick us apart, throw for nearly 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception against our secondary, which leaves the question, well, who's the next man up for the Green Bay Packers? Well, you've got Eric Stokes, Corey Ballantyne. Eric Stokes, they're going to have to rely heavily on this guy. He's been completely inconsistent throughout his career in Green Bay, given the injuries and all that stuff. Carrington Valentine is going to have to carry a heavy workload. Keyshawn Nixon, Robert Rochelle, Corey Ballantyne, those are the guys you're going to have to rely heavily on, which you're going to have to go against A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, St. Brown, Justin Jefferson, and Addison. And I just don't think that is going to cut it. So Brian Gutekunst should be looking to free agency. Currently, the best cornerbacks out there available right now, in my opinion, is Patrick Peterson. Yes, the dude is old, but he has fresh legs. And given at this point of his career, he stays in shape and he stays healthy. I know that. Why not bring the guy in for a workout just to see what you've got in him? It's certainly not going to hurt. And given who we've got on our depth chart, it's certainly wouldn't hurt. Leave your comments. Let me know any of the guys on this list stand out for you Packer fans out there. Who would you like to see Brian Gutekunst go out there and get? Or are you saying, hey, listen, we've got enough depth here to be just fine going into the playoffs? Jeff Hafley's certainly going to have to accommodate without Jair Alexander in there. You've got to put a lot of pressure on these opposing quarterbacks. Matt LaFleur just said it in a press conference also just recently, like, hey, we've got to put some pressure on these opposing quarterbacks, especially going into the playoffs. Playing who we're going to be playing, it's not going to be an easy task for Jeff Hafley and the Packers secondary. They're going to have to send blitzes a whole lot, kind of mirroring what is happening in Minnesota and honestly what Detroit was doing prior to all their injuries as well. If anybody knows injuries like like we've sustained right here, it's Detroit. Detroit has adopted the next man up mentality, and Matt LaFleur is going to have to preach the same message here in Green Bay. Leave your comments. Let me know. Does this take the Packers out of Super Bowl contention or not? Leave your comments. And as always, go Pack, go.